What is going on, everybody? Phoenix the Boss there, bringing you guys another episode of my Go Battle League struggles, and I'm back. It's been a long time since I've done any videos. It's been a long time since I created any content. I really haven't had the time, the energy, or the ability to do these things as I was transitioning into a new career. It's fast-paced, always moving. So now that I'm a little bit more settled in, I'm finding ways in order to slow myself down. And now I can do more of my Go Battle League videos and show you guys more of my Go Battle League struggles. And what better way in order to introduce while we're so fresh into season 13. And while we're here in season 13, I had a very spicy pick that I wanted to show you guys using Cradily in the open Great League. I paired it with a Lantern and with a Frostlass in order to help with some of those flying meta Pokemon that have been out a little bit, but honestly, it's crazy how well it worked. I didn't have all the battles in this video, but I was able to obtain a 16-game win streak using this battle, using this team, which was actually my best win streak of the season so far. So I hope that you guys go ahead and enjoy these videos. Let me know what you think about the team, and let's get right into it. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Lantern on the lead against Alolan Marowak. So the plan is for me to stay in here. It's a Hex variant, so they're going to generate energy just a little bit faster. They'll be throwing Bone Club, super effective but not really threatening when they come out with the Jump Love. I immediately switch into the Frostlass just to go ahead and start getting ahead of this energy. Not to mention, these Powder Snows are double super effective against the Jump Puff due to the grass and flying typing of this Pokemon. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw my Avalanche. They get to another move, and I go ahead and shield it right now. Should be the Aerial Ace, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep farming. My mistake here was that I believe that I'd be able to farm down, but since they only need 5 Fairy Winds in order to get to another Aerial Ace, I had to sacrifice my last shield. The opponent switches into their final Pokemon, which is the Politoed, and then they bring back the Alolan Marowak. So the AWAC comes out. I'm gonna switch back into my Lantern, throw a Surf, do one more Spark, and throw another Surf here at the opponent. It's gonna go ahead and take them out, and the opponent is gonna concede from there. So good game, very well played to them. Moving into this battle, and I didn't even get to showcase the Cradily in that battle, which, you know, it's kind of crazy because this is a Cradily showcase. So opponent comes in with the Venusaur, and then they switch to Talonflame. I really don't have like, Frostlass can do okay versus Talonflame, but it's not exactly the greatest matchup in the world. I'm gonna go ahead and shield this Flame Charge, hoping that I'll be able to Powder Snow down before I take too much Incinerate damage, but that Incinerate just did a crazy amount of damage. I'm gonna build up to 2 Avalanches here. The Powder Snow is just such a beautiful move. It gets to the charge attack so quick. Frostlass is still one of the most dangerous save swaps in the game. But here's where I kind of made a mistake in the game. Like, what I should have done is I should have come in with the Cradily initially. Well, no. I should have come in with the Lantern, and we'll see here now. So they're gonna go ahead and get the second Hydro Cannon off to me. They're gonna bring back the Venusaur, and I do have this Stone Edge. I can threaten the Venusaur with. My switch clock wasn't quite up yet, so I had to stay in that matchup just a little bit longer than I wanted to. Kind of a dilemma here because they still have a shield, and I have to eat one of these Frenzy Plants. Gonna go ahead and throw the Surf. They're gonna shield that up. I'm not gonna be able to get to another Surf, and they're gonna go ahead and throw this Frenzy Plant, but it's not gonna matter because due to the neutral ground and rock typing, I'm gonna take neutral damage to these Vine Whips, and they just Vine Whip me down. So good game, very well played to my opponent. Next battle, we have the Swampert lead into the Lantern. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to my Cradily, and we met with this Dragonite. Now, it's not a Shadow Dragonite, so the damage output isn't going to be as bad, so I feel like I can still play this out very well. Gonna go ahead and throw a couple more Bullet Seeds. This could be a Dragon Claw. Yeah, it is a Dragon Claw, so that could have possibly still taken me out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to the next Stone Edge. Knowing that they probably could have shielded it, I probably should have gone with the Grass Knot if I would have known it would have been shielded. Just that way it wouldn't have been as energy cost. It wouldn't have cost as much energy. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the Lantern. Lantern is bulkier than the Frostlass, even though the Frostlass has the better matchup here. They're going to throw the superpower. I'm going to go ahead and get a full powder snow down. Think that defense drop. Gonna bring in the Swampert here, the Shadow Swampert, I believe. Yeah, Shadow Swampert, and they're gonna fire off the Hydro Cannon now. Go ahead and throw my Avalanche here. And it does KO, and then they're gonna bring in the Trevenant, and this thing is gonna get absolutely brutalized by this Avalanche here. So good game to my opponent, very well played. This team actually worked out pretty well for me. Like I said, I had a 16-game win streak at a specific point running my sets with this team, so that was fun. It since hasn't worked out as well, but just wanted to showcase this. So we got the mirror matchup, the Lantern on Lantern. They're gonna go ahead and throw their Thunderbolt. I'm gonna build up. It's nearly 100 energy. Throw my T-Bolt now. Missing a couple of bubbles there like an amateur. Now lose CMP tie. I don't want to let all this energy go to waste, so I'm going to go ahead and shield right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and throw my own Thunderbolt here. So that's going to go ahead and get a shield from the opponent. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw the Surf. Thinking to myself, maybe they're going to go ahead and try to go for the Surf too. I could probably play myself into a CMP tie, but they actually shield. Now that works out perfectly for me. I bring in my Cradily, and they bring in Knockdown. So this Knockdown is absolutely going to get wrecked by this Stone Edge. That did a very considerable amount of Knockdowns of health right there. So whether it's Shadow Ball or Sky Attack, it's neutral damage. So I was able to take the neutral damage Shadow Ball there, and I'm able to get to another Stone Edge right here, taking out the Noctowl. And in the back they have Medicham. Medicham is kind of not necessarily a core breaker for the team, but Cradily doesn't want any part with it. Even though that their Grass Knot did a decent amount of its damage, I'm gonna go ahead and catch the Psychic, I believe this is. Yep, go ahead and catch the Psychic on my Lantern, and they bring back in their Lantern. I don't know if they're out of Thunderbolt or not, but I'm just gonna go ahead and take it anyway. Yeah, they had a lot of residual energy, so I know like I was gonna have to shield at some point in time, but they're low enough to where I can powder snow down, and it doesn't matter. The Medicham is at the health that either a Avalanche or a Shadow Ball would have taken out. No need to overkill. So good game to my opponent. Very well played. All right, getting into the next battle, we have Lantern against G-Fist, the Galarian Stunfisk. This matchup is a little bit better if you're the water gun variant of the Lantern, only because of the super effective damage. The double resisted sparks really are helping out the case, but the only positive to it is that I get to these surfs just a little bit faster than I would with the water gun, despite not getting as much fast move pressure. So gonna go ahead and call. They're gonna throw in the Rock Slide and then bring in their Venusaur. I'm gonna bring in my Frostlass, Shadow Venusaur. So my goal here is to try to completely powder snow this thing down, or at least get as much energy as I can. No, that's not going to happen, so I'm going to go ahead and throw an Avalanche here, knowing that the opponent's going to have to shield. At this point in time, I'm either going to be able to get one of the two things. I'm either going to be able to get this Venusaur out of the way, or I'm going to be able to get shield advantage. And they're going to go ahead and, well, no shield advantage, but they're going to go ahead and let it down. And I try to get to the Avalanche in time, but unfortunately, just one turn off. They do hit me with the Rock Slide. I bring in my Cradily. They still have a shield, and I know that I can tank at least an Earthquake. This Pokemon is pretty tanky, even in the Great League. So I throw the Grass Knot, they shield it, and I go with the combo play, hit this G-Fist with the Surf, and in comes the Wall Rain. So gonna go ahead and throw this Thunderbolt at it. Nearly takes it out, honestly, and spark down a little bit. So they're gonna go ahead and throw the Icicle Spear here. Now, because they're throwing the Icicle Spear, I know that when Cradily comes in, it's not gonna have enough for an Earthquake or even for two Icicle Spears. One Icicle Spear is not gonna be lethal from this range, as you can see, and the Bullet Seed registers, so the Wall Rain is down. That's a good game to my opponent. Very well played. Moving into the next battle, we have Lantern versus Deoxys here. This is one that I typically like to stay in just a little bit, build up my energy, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Surf. Even though Thunderbolt is a little bit harder hitting, I'm going to try and go ahead and bait and just get some chip damage with the Surf, and they're going to keep building up. throwing this next surf right here. Maybe the opponent's going to go for a back-to-back Psycho Boost, or they're just going to go for a neutral damage. I believe they have Thunderbolt. Yeah, so they go ahead and hit me with that neutral damage Thunderbolt, but they're right there, and they're able to get to another attack. It's going to be the Psycho Boost. The only positive, they're going to be lowering their attack at that point in time, so I can build up just a little bit more energy in order to get to this next surf. Still has some residual energy on the side, and they're going to bring in their Noctowl. Now that residual energy that I was able to build comes in handy here, because I'm able to get to this Thunderbolt and nearly take out the Noctowl. At this point in time, they risk me getting to a surf, so they're going to go ahead and throw a Sky Attack. Resist it, but I'm low enough to the point where it'll KO. Come in with my Frost Blast, completely Powder Snow down. The opponent has 2 shields, I only have 1, but I have an energy lead on Frost Blast, and we know that that is a recipe for disaster on anybody going against it. That Avalanche does more than 50% of Frost Blast, Stunfisk energy. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this Rock Slide go. It's kind of lethal, but I'm still able to survive it. And now I throw off this next Avalanche and get one of the shields. And at this point in time, I just have to double up on Grass Knots, because the second Grass Knot will be able to take it out. I still have 1 shield, so an Earthquake's not lethal from here. Throw this Grass Knot. The opponent shields it. It's not going to matter because I'm already at a second Grass Knot. I can either shield their attack or just throw the Grass Knot as I do, and that's going to be enough to take out the opponent. GG's to my opponent. Very good battle. And now we're moving into the next one. On the lead, perfect, beautiful lead. We have Lantern into Pelipper. Opponent immediately switches out, and they bring in their Lantern, and it's met with this Cradily. Now, because the opponent is running Spark on their Lantern, these Sparks are resisted due to the Grass typing on Cradily. So I'm going to go ahead and keep throwing Bullet Seeds, building up. These Surfs are only hitting for neutral damage. None of them are really lethal at this range, even though they're starting to add up. So now I'm nearly at max energy. Going to go ahead and throw the Grass Knot. Nearly takes out a very bulky Pokemon in Lantern. I was scared that they were probably going to get to another Surf, so I just went on ahead and threw the Grass Knot. And in the back, they have an Excadrill. And Excadrill, even with the neutral damage on this Grass Knot, nearly one-shots the Excadrill. I bring in my Frost Blast, completely farm it down. Opponent sees the writing on the wall when they switch in their Pelipper, and I bring back in Lantern. So it's completely walled. Good game today. Next opponent comes in with the Alolan Ninetales. Now this one is running the Powder Snow. The one thing that I've noticed is that Ninetales, or the A9s nowadays, are running the Powder Snow because the charm got nerfed slightly. It's not really a huge difference, but it makes it less likely to play. So they swap into their Medicham. I swap into my Frost Blast. None of Medicham's attacks are super lethal to Frost Blast. So I go ahead and take the Dynamic Punch. It's only given resistant damage due to the Ghost and Ice typing. Throw the Shadow Ball. It gets shielded. Opponent's going to go ahead and throw another Dynamic Punch. These counters are really starting to build up, so I have to respect it and shield. Wasn't really counting their energy, didn't know what they were at. It was just an Ice Punch, so that's kind of unfortunate, but it does allow me the opportunity to build up, and I can either bait, get their shield, or take this out. But they made an amazing catch, and they go ahead and catch that Avalanche on their A9, where I'm just going to go ahead and spark this thing down after the Surf. Now they'll come back in with the Medicham, and I'm able to go ahead and throw a Surf, hopefully getting that last shield. I'm doubled up on Surf, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this second one. At this point in time, they're going to have to throw a move in order to take me out. They won't be able to counter me down. If this Dynamic Punch takes me out, okay, so that one takes me out. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Frost Blast. I believe they brought in a Toxapex. Yes, so they brought in Toxapex, and to a bulky Pokemon like Toxapex, that Shadow Ball did a decent amount. Gonna meet it with my Cradily, just start loading up on energy here. Nothing that Toxapex throws is gonna one-shot me. As you can see, that Sludge Wave is neutral damage due to the Rock and Grass typing. Gonna go ahead and hit it with this neutral damage Sludge Wave, and they're going to throw, I believe it's a Brine. Yeah, they're gonna throw the Brine. Unfortunately, I won't be able to survive that, but I can Powder Snow down, and the Powder Snow does help me get to an Avalanche to go ahead and beat this meta champ. So good game to my opponent, very well played. That battle was just a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be, but glad I was able to come out on the winning side of it. All right. Okay, Swampert into the Lantern. Not exactly the greatest matchup, but I'm going to go ahead and switch out to my Cradily. And to my surprise, they're staying in here because nothing's going to one-shot me. I'm going to go ahead and let the Cradily take this. And I believe they switched out to, I forget what it was. Okay, a Meganium. So they switched out to Meganium. And unfortunately, I threw a Grass Knot into the Meganium, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and reach this Stone Edge, which is going to nearly take out the Meganium. But they're just building up so much energy right now. But because they're doing that, they're able to let me get to a third move. I'm able to throw off this next Grass Knot. And they're just going for a farm down. At this point, there's really nothing I can do right there. So going to go ahead and throw this Powder Snow. And because they were so low on health, okay, so they were doubled up on their Frenzy Plants. I thought that with just one Powder Snow I'd be able to take them out. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but the opponent does bring in a Lapras, and kind of in a situation because these Powder Snows are doing absolutely nothing to this Lapras, and the only thing I can really hit it with is the Shadow Ball. Now, the Ice Shards are resisted towards my Frostlass, so that's not what I have to worry about. It's just the Surf that I gotta worry about. So opponent's going to go ahead and bring back in the Swampert after I swap into my Lantern. And the opponent's running Sludge Wave, so they're not even running Earthquake. And here I was thinking to myself, they were just going to EQ me and the battle was going to be over at that point in time. But they give me a little bit of a win con. So the opponent throws the Sludge Wave, and I believe, yeah, they throw another Sludge Wave, and I'm able to go ahead and get the farm down, and then I'm able to throw this Shadow Ball into the Lapras to take it out. So good game, very well played to my opponent, and that battle was mainly only won because of the movesets they were running on their Swampert, not having the Earthquake as opposed to having the Sludge Wave. So getting to this next battle, where we have the Lantern met in the lead with the the Lantern met in the lead with the Metachan. Opponent's going to go ahead and build up, and they're going to throw an Ice Punch. Probably looking to bait there, but, you know, since none of the moves are leaked, I'm going to go ahead and take whatever it is that they got. Going to go ahead and hit this Metachan with the Thunderbolt, and they get to another move. So I'm thinking to myself, is it Psychic? Is it Ice Punch? They throw the Psychic, but I'm able to survive 1 HP in the Dream. Let's go with those PvPIVs. And then I go ahead and swap into my Frostlass here. I'm able to get to this Avalanche before they get to the Psychic, and then the opponent's going to bring in their G-Fist. So I have my 2 shields, but they have 2 shields as well. My mistake there, no, they have 1 shield. So my mistake there is I should have shielded that Rock Slide right there, especially not knowing what they had in the back. I had way too much energy on my Frostlass just to pretty much charge into the game the way that I did and just say, okay, it's going to be able to take whatever. I was trying to go for a catch there. Opponent did a good job with holding on to their energy, and now I have to start shielding, not knowing what's in the back, and this could be really problematic for me. I believe that they get to another Earthquake here. Nope, just a Rock Slide. So I'm trying to build up close to 100 energy, not quite able to get there, so I have to throw this next Grass Knot, and in the back they have a Noctowl. Yeah, so like this is an uphill battle, and I was able to go ahead and get that Stone Edge through. Unfortunately, that Sky Attack is going to do big damage, and I'm not able to get to the back-to-back. I'm one bullet seed off from being able to get to back-to-backs, and they go ahead and shield. I throw the next bullet seed, they just wing attack me down. That wing attack buff this season has made some of these Pokemon definitely OP, but you know, Noctowl is one of them for sure. We get into this last battle. They met me in the lead with the Swampert and Lantern. I swapped to the Cradily, and they swapped to their Sableye. So no need to go for Stone Edge, even though both of them give you stab. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw these Grass Knots since they're faster for me to get to. Build up a little bit more energy. I know they can't Shadow Claw me down from here, so I'm gonna go ahead and shield this Foul Play. Build up to nearly 100 energy, and I'm gonna go ahead and launch off the back-to-back Grass Knots. So first one's going to be getting this thing really, really low. I could have tried for another Bullet Seed, but no need to risk it. Go ahead and throw that next Grass Knot and swap into my Lantern. So now that they have shields down, I feel a little bit more comfortable with this matchup once they bring the Swampert back in. It is Shadow Swampert, so doing my counting, I think they were up to like 7 mud shots right there. So barely right before they're able to get to the Earthquakes. They're gonna go ahead and throw a Surf here. Interesting that they're not running this typical moveset of Hydro Cannon and or Earthquake or Sludge Wave. So the next thing, they're gonna go ahead and come in with this Skarmory, and at this point in time, I think it's a little academic here. Hit this with the Thunderbolt, start to spark it down. Opponent sees the writing on the wall, and that's a good game. But yep, this is the sets that I had with my Cradily.